Shalom, the Erev Tov. Shalom, hello, peace. And Erev Tov, good evening. Tov is good. Erev is evening. If you want to say good morning, it'd be Boker Tov. Boker meaning morning. So yeah, Boker Tov, Erev Tov. And then good night is Lila Tov. Anyway, we're going to do some Hebrew vocab. Sorry, I hesitated because I was thinking about trying to tell you about Lila, and then reminded me of Lilith, who, I don't know if you know Lilith. Well, I guess I've mentioned it. I'll tell you now. And I didn't look this up before I started this, so I'm going to be fuzzy on details. But from what I remember, so you got Adam and Eve, and as you know, Adam's the first human created. God said men shouldn't be alone, so he takes the rib and makes Eve. He's got his helpmeet. There are some traditions out there. I've never actually seen a text, but there must be some text anyway somewhere. You know how people come up with their own things, and sort of like, not to criticize anyone out there, but for example, Catholics have their own book in addition to the Bible that they will tell you did not come from the Bible, but they believe it's just as true as the Bible. It's kind of weird. Anyway, so there's some stories. In case you're not familiar with Lilith, if you believe the story, which I don't obviously, but Lilith was the first wife of Adam. She didn't work out because she had an evil streak. And so she kind of, got pushed to the side, and then Eve came along, and Eve was his true whatever. So Lilith did not want to be subservient to Adam. She said, women shouldn't have this place, or I'm not going to have this place. I guess it was more about her instead of womankind. Anyway, so I don't remember exactly how the story goes, but because she ended up not being the helpmeet for Adam, she goes her own way, and I don't know exactly what, something about going around at night, and I don't know if she was taking kids or terrorizing them or what. But she wasn't a pleasant figure. So the story goes that mommies would sing little songs to their babies to make Lilith go away, or Lilith go by. So the Lilith buys, which transformed into lullabies. Anyway, I think that popped in my head because of Lila Tov. That's how I remember that in my head. It's close enough to Lilith that I go, okay, Lila, Lilith, that's night. I have to use things to remember my vocab. Anyway, that was more than you wanted to know, I'm sure. You may have already known it anyway. Anyway, we're going to do Hebrew vocab. So I've got my app here, and one day soon we need to get you set up so you can use it. And anytime you close it and start over and pull up the vocab, even though it's for the same chapter, it scrambles it, so it's in a random order every time. So you never know what you're going to start with. So this time we're starting with Adamah, which I think we have covered before. So if you remember, Adam was man or human. And usually if you add a hey at the end, so it's Aleph, Dalet, Mem, Adam, and then you add the hey at the end, Adamah. Usually that makes it feminine. And so if you were super new to Hebrew, you might think, oh, that means that it's woman, but it's ground is what man came from. So Adamah, ground or land. Oh, you got to hit next. Let's see, down here. There we go. We want to cover that. Eved, slave or servant. We won't use this as one that we're really covering today. Just as you keep seeing them, they'll get a little more familiar. Let's see here. There it is. Adam, man, human, mankind. And then the word that eventually came to be a proper name, Adam. Okay. So again, that's aleph, which is a silent consonant. And that's the A underneath it. That's the vowel marker. So aleph, dalet, and then that's the final form of mem, Adam. Okay. Zahav. I really want Zahav the gold. That's how I remember it. Devar. I don't have a good way for remembering this, except that was the word on the front of my textbook. So first day in class, I said, what's that mean? He said, it means word. Word, thing, or matter is what it was in the textbook. I don't know why it leaves off matter on here. But if you change the vowels, so you got dalet, bait, and resh. And if you remember the bait, if it does not have the dogish, which is that circle, or not the circle, the dot in the middle, if it does not have the dalet, it's a V, devar. And I don't remember the form, but if you change the vowels and whatever, for it to be a verb, you can use this word as someone is speaking. We'll get to that eventually when we're like getting into verses, but you'll see this devar with different vowels to be someone is speaking. We won't use this as a one we're really going to look at this week, but chokma. We're just going to cover letters. Chet, Kaf, Mem, Hey. Chokma. And what is that, wisdom or something? Yeah. I remember that because it sounds like you're clearing your throat. You clear your throat because you have something wise to say to everybody in the room. Chokma. Navi, noon, bait, without the dogish, so it's a V. And then this yod is connected to that E, so it's na, V, and then of course the aleph is silent. And that's a prophet. Okay. Da'at. I know da'at. So da'at is knowledge. I know da'at. So that's dalet, ayin, which is the other silent consonant, but it's an A underneath it, followed by tav at the end. Da'at. Sedek. That's a sade, so it's a TS. Sadek. Sade. Dalet. Kof. And these are E's down here. So tzedek. And what's that, righteousness? Yeah, righteousness. We're not going to focus on that one this week. Kesef. I don't know an easy way to remember this one. That's silver or money. So that's Kaf, Sade, and then that's a final form pay. If it's not a final form pay, then this part that goes down actually wraps down. It's almost sort of like a backwards G, sorta. Anyway, that's not one we're going to focus on either. I'm just kind of letting you vaguely be introduced to the words and reviewing letters. The main ones I'm wanting to go over right now are Adam, Adamah, maybe Navi, which was prophet. And then, if I remember right, Olam is in this chapter. Let's see if we get to it. If it's not this one, it's the next one. Olam. So there's ayin, which is silent, but you notice there's no vowel down here. The vav with the dot above, that's an O. So that whole thing is one vowel. So it's silent O, lamed with the A, and then a final form mem. Olam. Long duration, antiquity, futurity. In my textbook, it was eternity or perpetuity, but basically it means everlasting, eternal, what you think about God. And this may have been used like if God was talking to David and said, I'm going to have your descendants last. That was weird. My computer just stopped and had an error and said recording stopped. So I know this is going to have a jump. I was just trying to say, if God says something to David about, hey, your descendants are going to last forever, or there will always be one of your descendants on the throne. I haven't researched this, I'm just speculating. This could have been a word he used. I've usually heard it used in a sense of it's not going to stop, but I guess it could just be like for a really long time. Because even if he says, one of your descendants will always be on the throne, earth isn't going to last forever. So it's not meant to mean eternity, just no foreseeable stop, I guess. Okay, so let's get back. Let's see if we want to cover some more words. Berit, covenant or treaty. Bait with the dogish, so it's a B. You got resh. And then that yod is connected to this sharp E, so it's barit to that tav. Barit. And again, this one is just, we're going over sounds and letters. Kodesh. What is that, new moon or month, something like that? No, sacredness. See, I'm fuzzy on vocab too. Kof with the O dot at the top. See, O's are at the top. Dalet with an E. And then sheen. And that dot is not an O. I don't know if you remember seen and sheen, but the letter looks the same except there's a dot at the top, and the dot's either on this side or on the other side over here. And that determines if it's seen or sheen. So it's an S or an SH. So this is Kodesh. That's a sheen. I'm not going to worry about learning this word today or this week. Chodesh. There's new moon or month. So that's chet, which is the H sound with a guttural. So if you remember hey, it looks like this except there's a gap. This one, both legs connect at the top. So it's che with the O dot. Dalet with an E and another sheen. Chodesh. Kol. I think that's voice or sound, something like that. Yeah. Kof. This vav with the O dot, that's just one big vowel. And then lamed. Kol. And I remember that by you shout out and your voice sounds out in the coal mine. So yeah, what's his name? Boyd in Justified, working in the coal mine now. So if he's shouting out, you'll hear his coal in the coal mine. Kohen, that's priest. So Kof with an O. There's a hey. You see it's got that little gap over there. Hey with an E and a final noon. Kohen. Goy, that's nation or people. So this is a gimel, and that's got a dogish, but that doesn't change the sound of the gimel at all. This vav with the O, that's just one big vowel again. And then yod is Y. So goy. Melech. I did not say we were going over this, but we'll cover this because you will hear this on our Friday gatherings occasionally because it means king. So our everlasting king. You might hear this paired with olam occasionally. Remember, olam is eternity or long-lasting, whatever. So melech is king. Mem with an E, lamed with an E, and then a final kaf. And if you remember, Kaf is the one that sort of looks like a C, but in the final form, this this letter changes more in the final form than any other letter, as far as I remember. Not crazy about how that changes because that takes a little time to learn. It doesn't look similar in any kind of way, but that's a final Kaf. So Melech. When we were at the bar mitzvah with the prayers, I heard Melech a few times in the prayers. So if you learn that one, you'll recognize that. You'll hear Elohim, which is God, Adonai, which is our Lord, and then Melech, King. Is that the last one? We went through the chapter. So, again, we're not going to try to learn all these words today or this week. I was mostly trying to let you learn letters, recognize them, and hopefully they'll start looking a little more familiar. I'm sure 2/3 of the alphabet at least, still just looks like hieroglyphics. But we want to learn Adam, which is man, Adamah, which is ground, Melech, which is king, and Olam, which is eternity, perpetuity, long-lasting, that sort of thing. And then once we get those down, we'll start focusing more on words like Kohen, priest, Navi, prophet. I think those would be good next words. Anyway, I'm sure I have, I started to say fizzled. That's not the right word. Frazzled your brain, or fizzled, whatever you want. I'm sure I've done it enough. We'll try to look at these words some more and practice them. And once we get a couple of chapters down, then we'll start looking at some easy verses to begin to translate and learn how to look those words up in the big old BDB, the Brown Driver Briggs lexicon. Anyway, I love you. I can't wait to see you later. And I was going to say I'll talk to you later. I'll see you later. Whatever. Bye.